And we're live. Welcome back, everyone, to the second part of the STiKS Live, the RosterMania edition, which we didn't actually plan on having. But since everyone decided to make a crazy amount of roster changes last night, we decided to make a second part to the STiKS. So we appreciate if you've stayed through the Advanced Warfare Awards. We'll not be talking about roster changes for a massive amount of time, but we got to go over all of them and kind of talk about them. I know myself, Fox, and Tommy have all made our videos. We all have our own opinions about all these changes. I'm ready to get into it. Are you guys excited to talk about RosterMania?
Sure. It's always a really confusing time. I'm just glad to be able to like put things together for everyone to understand what happened.
I know. I'm not going to talk about I'll get to that later. I'm not even going to talk about it. So we're going to go in order of the organizations exactly. We're not going to go team by team by team. We're going to go in actually Justice, then ISO, then Thrust. Like we're going to go in a major team order, if that makes sense, not in like the actual RosterMania order. So we're going to start off with the first organization who actually made some changes, being Justice. Justice actually, unfortunately, lost Envoy and Kenny due to their age restriction being under the age of 18, kind of automatically eliminating them and also making them a free agent. Another player who actually tweeted me the other day was Assault. He said that he is also a free agent. So right now, Spacely is technically looking for 3. Is there anyone that you guys think that could possibly go to Justice? I know we have a lot of free agents out there right now, but is there anyone that you could see Spacely trying to get? I know it's hard because Black Ops 3, it's like, who's going to be good at Black Ops 3? It's like, we don't know either. But do you see Spacely grabbing any more players, or you think he might have to, do something different, might go to a different team? I'm curious what you guys think.
There are so many options out there. That's what makes this so hard to predict. Yeah. But I mean, we could see Spacely kill a Fizz, something. We could see them try and make that happen again. There's really so many options. It's hard to predict for a team like Justice. Yeah,
it's mic muted.
Or with a possible team.
Landon's lagging.
Hello.
There we go. He's back.
I apologize.
There's
I wasn't
a glitch
muted.
in the Matrix.
What?
I apologize. Oh, I'm back. So what I said was.
Who even was that? Was that Kingdom?
That was Kingdom.
He asked me to host the show, and he decided to be disruptive. What is going on? All right. Moving forward, after that rude interruption, we're going to move on to Isolation Esports. And to be honest, this was probably one of my most surprising changes of the entire bit of RosterMania, being the fact that Dito, Lamagod, and Silly have actually left ISO. They all announced it. And Havoc is currently technically a free agent. I believe he's under the age of 18 as well. But I got to ask, did you guys expect anything to happen with ISO? I don't know if it was just me or not. I don't know if the chat can kind of chime in as well. But I 100% did not see ISO making any changes at all.
I absolutely saw them making changes because several of them are underage. I think just 2 of them are.
Only one of them are.
Well, one of them. Which is
either way, if someone's under the age, you would expect them to make changes.
That's true. I meant to say I didn't know that Havoc was underage. That's probably why I said that.
Yeah. I found out a few months ago that he was underage, so I knew that it was coming. From them, Elevate, Denial. Teams like that and Rise, they're going to have to make changes because they have players in their roster that are not of age for the COD World League.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to go move on to the next team. I know we're kind of just skipping through teams, but to be honest, this is all the information we know. We can't say, oh, ISO's going to pick up these 4 guys from the random 40 players who are free agents.
Yeah.
We're going to move on, not really talk about this team too much because I don't think this is really that massive a surprise. If it is, someone let me know. Thrust Nation, all of their players basically left and are free agents for Black Ops 3. All these players, Mochilla, Royalty, Fierce said that he has a team, meaning that he's no longer on Thrust, and Lacefield, all those guys have said that they are free agents for the Black Ops 3 scene. Surprised anyone at all?
Nope.
Not at all. Go ahead, Tommy. I want to hear you.
Sorry, I was just going to say, especially after their placement at MLG Worlds, and it was kind of a last-minute thing, in my opinion. Kind of every member of this team kind of came from a different org where they'd either been dropped or left.
Yeah.
It was just kind of... I saw it just kind of being a temporary thing, and then they would all kind of go their own different ways into their own little circles.
Right. Yeah, it was definitely just like we all really want to compete at Worlds, but we all really don't have teams. So
we really want to compete.
I gotta say, I thought honestly, they were like a stacked team. Like looking at them for Advanced Warfare, like Mochilla, dominant AR, Royalty and Lacefield are both amazing SMG players. Royalty also plays about too. And Fierce coming from TCM. Like all these guys were fantastic for their team, and for some reason either left or got dropped. Yeah. I don't know. I thought they would have been better.
You could even go far as to say that they were, all 4 of them were the best players on their, except for maybe Royalty.
Yeah.
But best players coming from their teams on to Thrust.
Yeah, they were like the top 2 at least from their teams. I think.
Yeah, at least, right.
I believe they also, Goalie might want to check me on this, but at Worlds, I believe they finished 0-4 after making it through the open bracket. So
yeah,
that was definitely not the probably the position that they wanted to be in. We're going to move on to our next team is actually going to be Orbit. There's a lot of speculation going on with the other players besides TCM, who said that he is a free agent. People are saying, oh my gosh, Vicento, join this team, which we'll get to, of your old teammates. Why don't you join that team as well? There's been rumors about Happy, and everyone keeps saying that Replays is 100% a free agent. I have not seen him tweet that yet. I don't know if Goalie has or not, but as far as I know, all these guys are still on the team except for TCM. We'll see what happens with Orbit, but I don't really think that's that much of a surprise. No offense to the guys on Orbit, but I think that was kind of a put-together roster at the end. They dropped Accuracy in place of Replays, and Replays just needed a place to go after being dropped from Denial. So we're actually going to talk a little bit about Denial actually now. All of their players actually left the team. So that was a little bit surprising. Hook, Classic, Temp, and Slasher all have left the team and gone in different directions. Gotta say, did you predict at least, besides Hook and Temp, did you guys see either Classic or Slasher leaving the team at all?
I thought at least one of them would stay, and then kind of the team would be built around them, like especially someone like Slasher potentially. But for all of them just to straight up leave, I think Classic and Slasher have obviously found a new home, but yeah, you definitely knew Hook and Temp were going. They already said that their team with Tej going into Black Ops 3. But I thought honestly they would maybe stick it out and get 2 or figure something out, especially with kind of the success and the way Denial have gone throughout Advanced Warfare.
I expected to at least see it be Slasher and Classic. We are, like you said, we already knew Hook and Temp were going to go. They're underage. But I thought Slasher and Classic placing second at the grand finals that, they would stick it out.
They were, like, honestly, looking at Worlds and being there, like, Elevate and Denial at different times looked to be amazing teams. I don't know. I really wouldn't have predicted, no offense to Denial, but, some of the roster changes that they did make in place of Replays for Classic, I wasn't sure how that was going to do and work for them. But apparently it worked pretty well. They ended up getting, obviously they ended up losing in the grand finals and whatnot, but still finishing second at MLG Worlds and finishing first with, obviously it was a different roster at COD Champs. To have an organization who placed that well at the major tournaments and to now have no team, kind of surprising as well. And I believe also Denial CEO, one of the actual candidates for possible owner of the year, Robbie, actually tweeted out, and I believe he said that Classic never actually let him know that he was leaving the team. I don't know if you guys want to touch on that or not. I made a video and I basically ranted about it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. But what can we do to prevent this? Like, is this going to be an issue that we have to deal with continuing on, or is there going to be something implemented in the World League? What do you guys think needs to happen to get the player and owner relationship back together? Because I think honestly, it's just either the owner does something that makes the players mad, or the players just leave the owner, and like no one can really trust each other, if that makes sense.
The thing is, unless the organizations put contracts down on these players, they're not obligated to do anything. I think that it would be respectful and professional to communicate better, but until that happens, people are gonna do scummy things.
Mm-hmm. Tommy, any thoughts?
Not really much to add. Just some of the, all I'll say is some of these roster changes did surprise me though. But we'll come on to talk about them as you announce them.
Right. It's honestly really sad to say the least. Denial losing their entire team, but much like them, another team would actually lose their entire roster. But we're going to move on. Elevate's actually losing their entire roster. As far as we know for right now, Slacked, Octane, and TJ have all left. Slacked and Octane teaming on a different squad, which we'll get to. TJ joining the group of Young Guns on a team that we'll get to. And Saints currently was at the time. I said was, but Saints at this time was a free agent, but he's actually recently joined another squad, which we'll get to. So all of Elevate have joined different teams that we're going to get to in a second. I know that's not very helpful for you all, but another team that I did not expect, Slats and Octane especially, I thought them picking up Octane was like a long-term thing. I don't know, what was really going through their mind or anything like that. I got to say, Elevate to me, at least in my opinion, I know about your guys's, was by far one of the most surprising things of RosterMania, but much like everything else, it's just another major organization losing every single one of their players. I hate to say it.
I think we were all very surprised when Octane moved from Envy in the first place. and then we all kind of thought he would settle on Elevate. But to leave after one event, I get that Black Ops 3 is completely different. We don't know who's going to be the best or whatever, what the best teams are. But it was really bizarre to see him go, and then obviously Slack go as well. But yeah, I don't really know what to say. I mean, obviously they know something we don't.
Mm-hmm. We're going to move on to one of our final teams. We're kind of getting toward the end here. Is actually going to be Enigma 6. Now, this is by far my favorite team that actually has been announced. They announced 2 different teams. They're going to have a pro team, obviously, who are above the age of 18, and an under 18 team as well. So the first, obviously, what they did, they released Exib, Proofy, and John. Those 3 guys are out. And they announced 2 rosters for sure. The pro team currently consisting of Dito and Silly. So those 2 players from ISO now joining over on the Enigma 6 team. They do not have another half of that roster yet, so that's kind of incomplete. But they announced an under 18 squad. We heard these 3 guys were going to team. They found an organization, and they found a great 4th. In general, the under 18 team is now consisting of Hook, Temp, TJ, and General. Dear God, I don't know if anyone wants to speak on them or not, but in my opinion, they're going to be one of the best teams if they play half as good as an under 18 team.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I would expect this team, like at open events, if they're allowed to even attend them, to be, well, the basis of Advanced Warfare, it's probably nothing, because Black Ops 3 is going to be completely different, but just the talent in these 4 players, easily they're going to be like shredding a lot of these 18 plus teams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what tournaments they're going to be playing in, but I fear for anybody that has to play against this under 18 E6 roster. I was talking about them today in my video. They seem like a force. All these players at one point were the best players on their team, similar to the Thrust roster.
Exactly. And kind of reiterating what you guys said, I think honestly I was waiting for a team to just do it like straight out, just like go and pick up these guys and just go and like run with them. Honestly, you could debate other roster changes and say, oh, you know, these teams shouldn't have made roster changes. We don't even know how players are going to be in Black Ops 3. But if you want to have a good under 18 team, you literally got some of the best, if not the best, young players in all of Call of Duty, at least for Advanced Warfare. So I think honestly this is a very smart move. Even though you don't know how they're going to play in Black Ops 3, you look at previous titles and you got to really just roll with it, because there's going to be kind of a limited amount in under 18 players, but these are definitely some of the best guys that we have, for that division. So E6 having 2 rosters, obviously one of them is incomplete, and I saw them actually announced today on Twitter. They're like, hey, you guys should find a team name for our Pro Division squad. So I don't know how that's going to work out or not. We're going to move on to our next team, a team who definitely, in my opinion, got a pretty good team, without a doubt. Rise Nation losing their entire roster in the fact of actually dropping them all. Yeah. So Elevate, Denial, and Rise all having a full team left. Actually, I mean, having a full lineup without any players in it. So Rise Nation actually released Burnsoff, Wheats, Chino, and I believe Aches was only there for one event, but still Aches is out. And they announced a new roster, incomplete for right now, but of Slacked, Classic, and Octane. So Slacked and Octane coming from Elevate, Classic coming from Denial. Honestly, whenever this happened, they announced it before that they had left Elevate. This completely shocked me, because I really thought that Slacked and Octane were going to stay on Elevate. Had no idea that Rise had anything like this up their sleeves. And to be honest, Chino, who's been on the roster since the beginning of AW, getting released just like that. I gotta say, wasn't a big fan of that decision in a way, but do you guys think this is better than their previous team? Obviously, they only have 3 out of the 4. Do you guys think this makes for a good squad?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of a dice roll going into Black Ops 2. We don't know who's going to be good at what. We don't know if Aches is going to reclaim his throne or if he's going to fall off even farther. You know, we have no clue.
Win that first event, though.
It's really hard to predict. Yeah, yeah, it's hard to predict something like that. I mean, you can assume your players like Scump and Clayster are going to remain consistently good, like they have been in the past several titles. But they're you can't know. You know what I mean? You can't know with everybody how they're going to play.
That's like a massive thing. We'll get to that actually at the end of it. We'll kind of talk about and say why teams are making changes or why they shouldn't be making changes at this point. But I'm going to go move on to the next team. We obviously had some insane stuff happen the very last minute last night and some stuff this morning. The last thing that happened as far as the 25th, which was yesterday, Epsilon actually Aqua tweeted out and said that Parasite is no longer on the team. So that means 3 players from TR who are currently looking for one in Remy, Aqua, and Nagafen looking for one player. Everyone is tweeting at Facento saying, join the team, join the team. We can have the TR reunion over on Epsilon. You know, I got to say, I was kind of surprised by the departure of Parasite. I'm not sure whose decision that was, you know, if it was the organization's or if it was Parasite on his own. I mean, we could debate and say, do you know for sure?
Yeah, they were talking about it on Twitter publicly for whatever reason. But Parasite was saying that he let them know that he was going to explore his options and see what other things he wanted to do. And they weren't feeling that. They were just like, no, if you're going to leave, then leave. And so just, you know, they don't want to waste their time. They want to find a new fourth if they're going to end up needing a new fourth.
Okay. I was just curious because I wasn't for sure if I assumed that it was Parasite, to be honest. I mean, you kind of just assume things, but I wasn't for sure. So I'm glad to know that Parasite did officially kind of leave the team. And Epsilon's like, yeah, if you're going to leave for sure. So Epsilon currently looking for 3. Like we said, the old TR team looking for 1, and Facento could be an option. Will we see the TR reunion? Stay tuned for another episode of the STiKS, maybe next week. We'll maybe have some new information. But another major thing that actually recently happened, now we're getting into today's news, Team Kaliber actually releasing Apathy, and it's not confirmed yet, but everyone's thinking of it, and I am too.
Yeah. Is
Gunjar in your guys' mind the pickup for them to go for, and is it a smart option for them to go for?
Black Ops 3 roster, Black Ops 2 roster, yes. Is it a smart option? I don't know. Like, I don't think anyone knows. Like, I know the players have played the game a fair bit, or at least some of them have, but it's so hard to call. I get why these players and teams are making roster changes to try and be best prepared for Black Ops 3, but honestly, it's as good as their guess as our guess, as the next person's guess, as good as you guys watching's guess of which teams and players are really going to shine, because there's going to be a Hook this year. There's going to be an Able, another kind of young squad that comes through, another team that's 18 plus that just completely shocks us at LAN. So there's just no way of knowing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good that they're in this situation. That's good. They're making a roster change for chemistry as opposed to just rolling the dice and hoping for the best, like we're seeing with some of the other teams form. I think it kind of makes sense they would pick up Gunjar because you could, you know, you don't know how people are going to play, so at least pick up someone you like and that you're familiar with. So it could be a good change. It could also not be a good change, but it's likely that it'll be great for the team.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's hard, like you guys said, it's very hard to kind of predict how players are going to be in Black Ops 3. We saw, no offense, but Gunjar go from team to team to team. Didn't have a very good AW by any means, but whenever he was put to the test on Envy, he had a pretty good event, actually. Yeah. Him and JCap had a phenomenal event for Envy, and it ultimately played a lot better than a lot of people thought they would. I thought that they were honestly probably one of the worst teams out of RosterMania, coming with a roster that they did have, and kind of, you know, scrambling a little bit, getting Jerd a pretty good SMG, but also adding Gunjar, who had to prove himself, definitely did it. So, to be honest,
now Merc can go on Envy,
right? It's like,
let's go.
It's like fill in the puzzle pieces, like where players are going to go and stuff. But you know, as far as TK goes, we don't know what's going to happen for sure. But it's looking like it's going to be Gunjar. Could it happen? Most likely it will. Is it confirmed? By no means is it. And if it happens while we're on the show, we'll let you guys know that too. So
yeah.
So TK looking for one right now. We'll see how they do moving forward. And we're going to move on to our next team, and basically where Apathy went is actually on a new team with a team that we don't know. We don't actually know the roster. We don't actually know the organization yet. So
did he tweet censor Apathy Saints? Is the team so far looking for fourth, and they haven't announced the organization?
People were saying FaZe Black in the chat, remember? But
the thing is, like, they've been hinting at it for a while now, but like, I think someone told me before that Banks said in an interview, and I haven't been able to find this interview, which is the most annoying part, that he doesn't want to have a FaZe Black because it dilutes the brand. That's what he believes. But with Censor and Apathy contradicting that with other hints and teases and such, it's kind of confusing.
Especially with like Censor's position in FaZe. And like I get where like Banks is coming from with kind of how in the past every FaZe Black hasn't really worked out.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it could also be something like they could play under, like how Prophecy let Imbos play under Prophecy, but he was still representing Optic. Yeah. It could be something like that where they all join Prophecy, but he still FaZe Censor, you know, or he joins some other roster, but he still FaZe Censor.
Yeah.
So we don't know how it's going to happen.
Honestly, I don't think they do either, to be real. I don't think that they actually know what they're going to do yet. But, you know, it's a very talented team. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, the old SB. And obviously everyone's like, oh, where's Dito? Dito's a free agent. Dito's not a free agent, for those who don't know. He's technically on E6 for right now, which we mentioned. Could he leave? Absolutely. I mean, I don't know what's the deal there, but
he's done it before.
Yeah, he's done it before.
Let's talk about his history and ghosts.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens with that team. It's honestly a very good roster. They had a lot of success, especially at that one event. I was actually at the the regionals for Ghosts, the kind of like the qualifiers, the NA regionals for the COD champs, and SBN actually ended up winning that event. So they've had success. I mean, they know each other pretty well, and we're a pretty dominant team in their day. We'll see how that roster kind of works out. They're looking for one. Any options you guys think in particular they could go for? If you want to complete that team, is there anyone that like kind of makes chemistry-wise a good decision? Excluding Dito, I'll say excluding Dito. Is there anyone that you guys think could be a good addition to that roster in your guys' opinion? Anyone?
Sorry, repeat the question one more time. I was reading something in the chat.
Is there anyone that could join this roster for Censor that would make sense to you?
Slasher.
I was going to say that. Nice.
Get Slasher in there. Slap him on in there. Why not?
Anyone for
Slasher had experience.
It sounds like a topping on like a pizza. Just slap him on in there.
Slasher had experience in Black Ops 2. Slasher team with Censor and Apathy for the phase I keep calling it the phase opener for some reason. The Advanced Warfare opener event, the Columbus event. Yes, yeah. They won that event together, so it's a likely pickup. But there's also rumors of Slasher going to Envious, so we don't really know how that's going to work.
I've heard a lot of things about Slasher going to Envy. By no means is it confirmed, but he's a very talented player, and like we said earlier, very, very underrated, phenomenal guy to be always watching out for, especially if you're on his team. He's a very good addition to your team as well. So, final thing, we're going to talk about this very, very briefly. I tweeted out a little bit of a list last night, talking about all the free agents and whatnot, and I failed, and I had like Moch on there twice and Aches on there twice. I was tired, but one guy responded to that document basically that I tweeted out, and he said, add me to the list, and that player was none other than Nadeshot. So I don't know if this is a troll or not. He responded to my tweet. He said, add me to the list. I'm kind of ready to play Black Ops 3. I don't know. Is this a troll in your guys' opinion? Chat as well. Do you guys think he's coming back or not? And obviously, in my opinion, he 100% joins an Optic organization, most likely ON, if he even thinks about coming back. I know he said in the past he would never want to play for another org but Optic. Do you guys think it was a troll, or do you guys think that it could happen in your opinion?
I missed this. I must have scrolled past the tweet or something. Oh, add me to the list when he tweeted you.
Yep.
Okay.
I
think he could have just been trolling. I mean,
yeah.
I know.
He's spoken about it multiple times. That if he comes back, he'll probably that he'll probably in Black Ops play S&D tourneys and stuff like that. So I don't know. It could go either way. We don't know what's going on with Nadeshot right now. Right now, he doesn't have to compete if he doesn't want to. Yeah. It's totally going to be like, do I feel like competing? Yeah, sure, why not, kind of thing.
Right. It's definitely could be a troll. Go ahead, Tommy.
I was just gonna say, like, for all we know, like, he could really miss competitive, but at the same time, like, you watch his YouTube videos and stuff, he's very much enjoying life from being away from gaming. So it's like no one knows what's going through his mind bar him. And it's like, does he want to sacrifice his lifestyle at the moment to go back to what he had before at the Optic House?
Right. I mean, honestly, I'm looking at it. I immediately think like a troll, just a joke. But we'll see what happens. Could Nadeshot return? Anything could happen, to be honest with you. The ON roster is not confirmed to go into Black Ops 3. I believe as far as they said is that that Nameless was only there for a world. So we'll see how that team does moving forward, if that team is going to be complete. Obviously, Miracles, and for instance, for Optic Nation had a lot of success, and Nimbos and Ricky are obviously good additions in certain games as well. So what I'm going to do really quickly, I'm going to read off basically the list of free agents right now. We don't have to go over all of them. I'll ask you guys a couple questions about your most surprising roster change, the worst roster change as well, and we'll kind of conclude the show. So I'm going to read you guys off this list really quickly. Just want everyone to know all the free agents who are currently out there and whatnot. It's going to take me a second, so I do apologize. But the current free agent roster list who are, kind of age is Merc, TP, Aches, Lawless, Anticity, Pac-Man, Lamagod, Mochilla, Royalty, Lacefield, Fears, Burnsoff, Wheats, Chino, Exhib, Proofy, John, TCM, Twiz, Slasher, Sinful, Study, Methods, Jump, Assault, BL Fire. I have Nadeshot, but debatable obviously, and now Parasite. A couple other players who I haven't seen them tweet out yet, but it's very highly likely as Killa, Fizzerp, and Felony. And the under 18 players who are currently free agents are Kenny, Envoy, Ivy, and Havoc.
Tipsy.
Is Tipsy on there too now?
Tipsy said the other day that he's coming back.
Is he? Okay, I'll add him to the list. So we have Tipsy.
Yeah,
it's just an ongoing list.
I'll read the list over again.
Right, okay, so it's Merc, TP. No, I'm kidding.
No.
I saw something the other day. Merc tweeted out like free agency that he's technically still on contract with Envy. I know, Fox, you mentioned it in your video. I don't know if you want to talk about it a little bit more in depth with what he really meant by it. I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Merc, he wants to, all right, so ideally he wants to be on Envious. He's still under contract with Envious, which that's interesting to note, is that Merc is under contract with Envy. And he said they're going to run games together and see how it goes, but he's keeping his options open by announcing free agency. So his first priority, and ideally he's on Team Envious, but if it doesn't work out, they don't want him on the team, or they clash when Black Ops 3 is out, then he's going to find other options, and he will no longer be Merc Envy.
Exactly. That was very well summarized. I like that. Your cam froze for me on Skype, so you're just like this.
Did you have Proofy on that list?
Yes, I see Proofy.
Yeah, he said Proof.
I'm interested to see where he goes, because like, considering he's one of the first people I first kind of saw within the scene and kind of got me into competitive Call of Duty and kind of the road he's taken in Advanced Warfare, I'm really excited, and hopefully he can kind of find his way throughout Black Ops 3, because it's fair to say he's had a bit of a rough spell towards the end, at least with Advanced Warfare.
Spacely and Proofy. Proofy could join that Censor Saints and Apathy team.
Oh yeah,
could go. There's like 40 different free agents right now, so people could go anywhere. For a team that we haven't seen them play yet.
A team we have never thought of.
Right.
Yeah, like some of these guys who are all free agents could form our team as well. Like what we have Denial open, we have Elevate. Like there's so many open rosters who are just looking for players.
They're gonna pay.
And new organizations that might come into the Call of Duty scene, which maybe we'll find out more information this Wednesday.
Very specific. No, I'm just kidding. I know what you mean.
Oh no, it wasn't intel or anything.
No, I'm kidding. But you know, I mean, like you said, there's a bunch of organizations who have kind of mentioned that they want to have a COD team. I saw Unite actually tweet out like a couple days ago. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, but they said that they're interested. SB has thrown their hat into the ring saying that we're interested as well. There's a lot of teams out there who are excited for Black Ops 3 and want to have a team, and they have plenty of players to choose from. Let's just say that. So really quickly, as we kind of conclude all this roster change stuff, if anything doesn't happen before we leave the show, most surprising change in your guys' opinion, what is the most surprising thing that happened through all the teams that we mentioned? You could say a free agent or a certain trade, not really a trade, but teams who left an organization to go to a different one. You can choose the new E6 team. It doesn't really matter. What has been the most surprising change to you guys in your opinion so far? I'm going to start off with Tommy and go to Fox.
I would probably have to say Rise Nation, because for the fact that Chino and Wheats have been on that roster for like longer than I've been born, for God's sake, and also the fact that they dropped their obviously entire roster, and then the players they picked up, like in terms of how they've been performing in Advanced Warfare, that's just ultimately an upgrade. So that's probably my biggest kind of surprise, because I just did not ever see that happening, kind of stealing players from all over the place from Denial and Elevate.
Right. Yeah. Fox, surprising change for you?
I agree with that. That's a pretty big surprise for me as well, is seeing 3 of those players leave Elevate to go to Rise and still be looking for a 4th. That confuses me as to why they didn't just stay on Elevate, where Slacked has been for months upon months now, and drop Saints to look for a 4th. I want to know what was going on with all of that. And how it's going to affect him moving on to Rise. And I also talked about this in my YouTube video today, is that leaves Saints as the only one on Elevate. If Saints had issues traveling and stuff like that before, do you think that he'll also have issues with, the COD World League? Like how would that affect Elevate?
Potentially, if it's not in, you bring up a very good point. That's because I mean we all know it's very much kind of unofficial that for whatever reason, we don't know, I'm not going to speculate, but Saints doesn't travel outside the States. He hasn't done to this day. For we're not going to go into whatever reason, but that's a good point. Say business. The World COD League, for whatever reason, say say they do it by seasons, and then the season final, the first one's in North America, the next one's in Europe, and the last one's in Australia. What is he going to do? And what does the roster that pick him up and the team, the organization do as well? Because that is tricky. And I think that's definitely something they need to consider, because it's definitely harmed the team that he's been on in the past, especially with like the Gfinity Summer Championship and the Spring Masters and stuff like that. So it's definitely something I think that this new squad needs to consider with him.
Right. You guys brought up fantastic choices, to be honest, but I'm gonna go with one a little bit different. I was thinking about teams who could pick up, and add to their roster the Young Gun squad. E6 to me made a massive play and didn't really take a risk in my opinion, but we're just the first guys to say, you know what, we're gonna grab these guys. Had no idea that was even an option. Didn't even think about E6 in my mind. I have to agree though, Rise and the Elevate changes and stuff were insanely crazy, but just coming from pure like shock, in my opinion, I was literally had my mouth open, like having no idea what was going on. Whenever E6 announced that Young Gun squad, so I'm excited to see those guys moving forward. They look, to be honest, as one of the best young teams, the under 18 teams in the game. But we'll see how they do as well. But really quickly, I'm gonna ask you guys something really fast. Is Kaliber leaving FaZe? Yes or no?
Ooh.
He could very easily be trolling. He does this every RosterMania.
100%.
I think last time
did he tweet out?
He has a lot of decisions to make.
Yeah,
and people are very much speculating.
I'm not gonna.
Last time, didn't he like announce his merch or something like that after trolling? Isn't that what he did? He does this every RosterMania. So it's very likely a troll, but it could be,
I'm just asking,
a genuine tweet
based on pure not excitement, but like just pure curiosity. Because I've seen so many people tweet at me saying like every time Kaliber tweets something, speculation, like he has to be leaving. I was just curious what you guys thought. Well, go ahead, Tommy.
I think it's just speculation, if anything, because looking at the rosters that have formed and the free agencies that's come out today, like where would he go? Like where, if you're in his eyes, where would you, not knowing who's going to be the best in the game, and for that sake as well, like where exactly do you go and see it as kind of you're more benefiting yourself? Yeah. Like I don't see where he goes unless like he goes back to like denial and like him and Robbie create a team around himself. But I think he'll be fine on FaZe, but there's no way of knowing. There's no way of knowing.
Yeah, if he were to go somewhere, it'd be crazy to see Clay, Aches, and Teep looking for one. But I still don't see. I don't see Clay making a move. I see him staying on FaZe.
I would be so excited if that team formed. Just saying that right now. Like I would.
Clay,
Eggs,
buying shirts, buying a jersey, buying all of that merch. If Eggs, Teep, and wait, who did I say? Eggs,
that would
definitely
be something. They even said like. I remember a while back, like they were saying how like they weren't enemies, and like I don't remember them saying it'd be cool to team. But
and Nate Shot, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, and Nate Shot.
Money
beautiful.
Team. And then Big T is a coach.
Oh gosh, and then Rambo is the co-owner.
Boss Nasty is
a co-owner.
Duffman is coach.
Oh gosh.
What would the team name called?
Would the team name be?
Oh gosh. Cole? I mean
4 ranks. I guess it'd be four. I'm trying to math here.
Trying to math?
Ring. Yeah.
How many rings?
I don't know. It's a fictional team that's never gonna happen. Let's just move on.
It'd be interesting. Someone mentioned Proof. Like that could be. I mean, there's a lot of options. We'll see what happens, but most likely
Proof could easily go on that roster.
Right. But yeah, Kaliber obviously doesn't look like he's leaving the team. I just want to ask you guys' opinions about it because I've seen a lot of speculation. There's a lot of differences between the MLG chat, between Reddit and Twitter. Like there's like different people who think differently in different. I think I said different like 4 times. There's a lot of different ways that people think in some ways based on what website you're on.
Someone even said Formal going to Halo. So imagine if that happened and then Clay goes to Optic.
I honestly think if anything happens, say if he does in some way go to Halo, that he will only go there for that one event and then he's back. Like he's just going there for one tournament. I think like he did at in AW. He like left or he joined.
Yeah, he went and won. He won the tournament. Wait, he either won or he was in second place. I think he won it, right? He won.
He won. Yeah, he definitely
won. They were because the last app was on the pit. I remember watching it. Yeah.
Oh God! Someone just got me really happy. Someone said Cloud9 picking up Aches, Teep, and Kaliber. And
I mean, not outside of the realm. I mean, I feel like we're gonna see new orgs come to COD.
Yeah, especially if we go to Twitch.
I was just saying, based on the amount of changes that have happened that have surprised me this far, that would just be another thing, like just to throw in, like, oh yeah, C9's joining, and they're gonna pick, like, it would just be like another thing down into
It's incredibly likely. I don't see why not. You know, at this point, they were so quick to hop on the Halo Esports, and now that we're adopting a structure within our pro league similar to how Halo has their stuff with 343, like, you know, I don't see why it wouldn't.
Anything can happen in RosterMania, let alone Call of Duty Esports. But guys, that's going to do it for the RosterMania section of basically the part 2 of the STiKS. We hope you guys did enjoy the award show along with this kind of second half. I know Kingdom kind of already gave his outro. I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds or less to shout out and, you know, say whatever you want to whoever you want. You have 30 seconds, like I mentioned. Like I said, you can shout out sponsors, organizations, a new video that you posted, and your affiliations with the community, whatever you guys really want to do. It's your time to talk. And I'm going to start off with Tommy, then I'm going to go to Fox, and I'll kind of close out the show and whatnot. So, Tommy, if you'd be so kind to say your outro.
Well, thank you, everyone, for watching, really. Massive shout-out for me has to go to XL. I was at EGL this weekend doing content for them. Absolutely amazing organization. Only got the best things to say for them. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the future with them. You can catch me on YouTube. That's where I do pretty much all my content. Just type in Tommy Esports and you'll find me. But yeah, everyone have a good night, and I'm going to bed.
It's late where Tommy is, for those who don't know.
Yeah, it's like 3 in the morning in Nonia right now, isn't it? What's up, guys? I'm Fox TK. I am an esports caster. You guys have seen me at several events throughout the year. I am a live streamer here full-time at mlg.tv/Fox. It's where I put a lot of my content. I also upload daily to my YouTube, which is Fox TK. You can go check some of that stuff out. But if you want to follow me directly, you can go to my Twitter at RondezFox. I hope you guys enjoy my content. I try to vary it all up, but most of it is all centered around esports and entertainment. So thank you guys for stopping by. It was a great show today.
Very, very nice. I like the way you guys give your outro. It's very, very nice and concise. I gotta say, you guys. I don't know how I'm gonna.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Kingdom Soldier, and
I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to happen. I just knew it.
It's a great show. You can't catch me on YouTube. You can't catch me on Twitch, but you might be able to catch me on Twitter or on the STiKS Live. Thank you for enjoying the show today. Sorry, my son is talking in the background.
If you would have just said the STiKS, that would have rhymed perfectly.
No, I failed. I'm sorry.
I'll
see you guys next time. And my other
Goalie, stop talking in the mic.
See you guys.
See ya.
All right, guys. It's been your dude, your bro, your man, your pal. It's been your ally on the internet, guys. Thank you so much for watching. The STiKS. Appreciate it. Check out my YouTube, Airland. Follow me on Twitter at Mr. RosterMania. I'll be tweeting out all the roster changes. Much like these guys, I try to make as much content as possible. So we've been grinding. We've been kind of grinding.
On that grind.
We have been. So guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of the STiKS Live. Thank you to everyone who showed up.
Nate shot rules. Is what he said.
That's fine.
Let's go, little dude.
We'll roll it out like that. That's the end of the show. Goodbye. Thank you for watching.
Awesome.
We're rolling out with that. That was perfect.
Come on.
Yeah. Just gonna keep waving.
Nate shot rules, dude. Beautiful.
Come on.